By the time the weekend came, Emma knew she couldn't wait any longer. She had to find answers. The bookstore where she'd found the object was the only place she could think to turn. It was an old, dusty place, filled with bookshelves crammed with rare and obscure volumes. The owner, a man in his 70s named Mr. Barnett, had always been an enigma to her, a quiet, watchful presence who seemed to know more than he let on. He was the kind of person who had spent a lifetime gathering knowledge of things long forgotten by the world at large. As Emma walked into the store, the scent of old paper and leather hit her like a wave. The low hum of the fluorescent lights buzzed above, filling the silence of the narrow aisles. The bookstore was oddly dim despite the daylight outside, as though it existed in a realm of its own. The shelves stretched high above, filled with dusty tomes that seemed to whisper their secrets to each other, their pages weathered by time. Barnett looked up from behind the counter, his sharp gray eyes immediately locking onto her with a knowing gaze. He had always seemed to be watching, observing more than speaking. Emma approached cautiously, her heart pounding with a mixture of excitement and dread.
Barnett!
She began, her voice trembling slightly.
I need your help. I found something unusual.
He didn't ask what it was. Instead, his gaze shifted to the bag at her side, as though he had already sensed the presence of the object long before she revealed it. Without a word, he motioned for her to sit down at a table in the back corner of the store. The wooden chair creaked beneath her as she pulled it out and sat, the bag still clutched in her hands. Slowly, she pulled the object from her bag and placed it on the table. The engravings glinted in the soft light of the store, their patterns shifting as if alive. She watched Mr. Barnett's expression as he studied it closely. His features tightened, his lips pressing into a thin line.
It's been years since I've seen something like this.
He muttered, his voice low, almost reverent.
I had hoped I'd never see it again.
Emma felt a knot tighten in her stomach.
What is it?
She asked, her voice barely above a whisper. Barnett stood up, his eyes not leaving the object. He reached for a thick, ancient book that looked like it had been untouched for decades. The pages inside were yellowed and brittle, the ink faded but legible. He flipped through it slowly, his fingers tracing the worn edges of the pages as if searching for something. Finally, he stopped on a page and pointed to an illustration that made Emma's breath catch in her throat. The object she had found was depicted there, but the drawing was much larger and more elaborate.